All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then we will go ahead and have it recorded. And if anybody joins us after the fact, they will have access to the PowerPoint. Thank you for being here. This is our annual Title I meeting, and it is a requirement for our Title I compliance that we share this information with you. Now, if you have been here for our SAC meetings and even some of our PTO meetings, some of this information may be a little redundant, but it is important to be very transparent and make sure that our stakeholders know what is expected and what this business of Title I means. So I wanted to just share that, again, it'll be recorded, it'll be here, and then we're also going to send it home through Skylert messaging. So if you do have friends or family that maybe a Palm Point family member who might not have access to it and have some questions, you'll be able to equip them with the information that they need. All right. Well, I am Mrs. Nieves. I am one of your assistant principals. I see Miss C. St. Louis is also on the call. She is one of our other assistant principals. Miss Markowitz is our principal, and Miss Annette Newsom is our other assistant principal. Hopefully you know us and put a name to a face. I have some pictures in the presentation later to help you with that. All right. So this is an overview of the information that we are going to share. There's a little bit of a delay, but you should see our agenda pop up. We are going to just inform you about the school's participation in the Title I program. I'm going to include the parents' right to know, our standards expectations, our school performance data, and then at the end, there'll be an opportunity for you to provide feedback and ask any questions that you may have. All right. Now, each school served under Title I must hold an annual Title I meeting. And the purpose is just to make sure that parents and families understand their rights and are informed about ways that you can be involved and engaged with your students and the school. And it also is an additional opportunity for us to obtain input from you all, getting feedback on the things that we're doing, answering questions that you might have, and just a way in which we can continue to better our practices here as a school. We always want to meet our families' needs and our students' needs, and we are continuously looking for ways to do better. We can always do better. It's magical at Palm Point, but there's always ways we can do better. This here is our administration team, and we really are committed to a strong school-to-home partnership. We're here to support you. Ms. Markowitz is our principal, as I mentioned. Ms. Markowitz oversees all of the operations in our school, and she also oversees 3rd and 4th grade, as well as middle school ELA. I am Mrs. Nieves, and I serve 7th and 8th grade, the ESE department, and middle school math. Ms. Newsom oversees 5th and 6th grade, our resource and elective teams, and middle school science. And Ms. C. St. Louis, who's joining us tonight, she oversees our K-2 population and middle school social studies as well. So we keep busy around here. Just to put a name to the face, if you look at the photo on the bottom with us in our gray shirts, you have Ms. Newsom on the left. You have myself, Mrs. Nieves, second. Third in line is Miss Markowitz, our principal, and on the right side is Miss C. St. Louis, just in case you're not sure which is which. And we have our Charlie's Angel picture up at the top right. We had some fun preschool week. We enjoy working together as an admin team. So our instructional support team also plays a key role in building relationships with our students and families, and they can be reached at any time if you need assistance. When this link is sent out, these will be hyperlinked, so you'll have access to all of these names, emails, and links that you'll see throughout the presentation. We have Miss Perry, who is our instructional coach. Miss Inamorato, is another instructional coach. Miss Moscow services our K-2 school counseling program. Miss Campbell is our 3-5 school counselor. Tiffany Rowley is our 6-8 school counselor. And then we have Deans Kaufman and Crooks, who handle our discipline here at school. Now, you might hear about the ESSA Act, ESSA. That's the Every Student Succeeds Act. And one of the driving forces behind our meeting today for Title I is this Every Student Succeeds Act. It's commonly referred to as ESSA. And this is a national education law for all K-12 public schools. And it's focused on establishing accountability for student achievement and ensuring quality instruction for all students. And it really does mean all students, which ties directly into one of our goals as a school, which is enhancing the educational experience of our students with disabilities. Some of the intentions of this act are noted here. We're going to go a little more in depth as we proceed through the presentation. But essentially, we want to make sure there's accountability, that there are clear education goals, that we are improving the quality of instruction for all of our students, and that, of course, we are a safe and drugs-free school environment. So Title I, Part A is really what we're talking about primarily. This is a federally funded entitlement program, and it provides resources to schools based on family income levels. So as a school, we set goals for improvement and we measure student progress on a routine basis. Now, the funds from Title I are used for a variety of programs and activities. And this is one of the reasons why we stress so very much that we fill out that lunch form at the start of the year. The funds that we receive from Title I directly come from the lunch forms that are filled out. And so even if students don't qualify for the lunch program, the filling out of those forms are directly tied to how much supplemental funds we receive, which is why it is so critical. And we bug you about that every single year. The funding is used to increase academic achievement, especially in reading and math. And they also are what we use, these funds are what we use to provide supplemental support. So this would include things like tutoring, any curriculum materials that are not provided by the district, any extra things that we think are needed for our kids, we would use the Title I funds to fund those items. And I kind of mentioned this already, but each year the districts receive Title I funds from the federal government, but it is directly tied to those lunch forms. So the amount of funds that are presented to the schools are based on the number of low-income students who qualify for the free and reduced lunch program. Excuse me. Now, regardless of your income, regardless of your status, students still receive benefits from Title I funds. So Title I funds are used for students of low income, but any child that has an academic need will benefit from these Title I funds. And you'll see a little bit more about that as we go through. Now, once we do receive those funds, who decides how they're used, right? Well, that's where you all come in. Every school has a school advisory council, and that SAC committee, SAC, is composed of parents, teachers, and the principal. And the school advisory council, along with input from the families, helps the principal develop an action plan for how to use these funds. So we have a Title I school-wide plan, we have a school improvement plan, and then we have parent and family engagement plans. You'll have so many plans you won't know what to do with, but we'll talk about each of those briefly. The idea is that we get feedback and input from families throughout the year, and then we use that to better our plans and to ensure that we are working together as a team to do what's best for our students. And every year, there's a survey that gets shared with families, and that survey really does drive the feedback and drives our decision-making for the following year. There are some things that we keep the same because if it's not broke, don't fix it sort of thing. When we are doing well and our students and families are happy and things are going well, we sometimes repeat those plans for the following year. But based on the feedback that we receive from the SAC committee and from surveys, we do make changes and we do intend to improve things each year. And actually after each session when we receive feedback, I'm going to ask you for some feedback this evening at the end, and that stuff will be looked at and we will use that for our decision-making process. So please, please, please understand how important you are in our school-home partnership and in what we're doing with our kids every day. So this year, Pointe was provided with $171,995, which sounds like a ton of money. But this money was used to pay for services and programs for our students. And listed here are bulleted items that these funds were used for. Part of that is used for salaries. Our instructional coaches are paid through these Title I funds. That includes our full-time instructional coach, one part-time instructional coach, and our reading interventionist. Our parent and family engagement plan is funded through this. These are any of our parent and family engagement activities. This would include stipends for teachers to prepare and deliver the information, and any snacks or take-home activities, anything that is monetarily needed for these parent and family nights. Those funds come from Title I funds. Substitute teachers are paid through these funds, which when the substitutes are here, that allows for teachers to have a half-day planning session to deepen their curriculum and their instruction and make intentional plans before test taking time. So those days are utilized for teachers to look at how the students are doing, identify any gaps, and then make a strategic plan for intentionally reviewing standards before the kids test. The program of IXL is not funded by district. That is something that we pay for as a school. And any consumable supplies and tutoring is also paid for through these Title I funds. Now, very quickly, I wanted to mention the parents' right to know. As parents under the ESSA Program Act, you have the right to receive information about your child's level of achievement. That would include their academic growth or how they're performing on their assessments. You also have the right to request and receive information about the qualifications of your child's teacher and their paraprofessionals. So you are welcome to ask if your teachers have met the state certification requirements, if they have a degree in the subject area that they're teaching. And if there is a teacher who is teaching your child for more than 4 consecutive weeks, and that teacher is not highly qualified, you will have a notice about that so that you are aware of who is in front of your child every day and what their qualifications are and what the plan is to get the teacher fully certified before the end of the year. That letter is the out of field newsletter that went home last week, I believe, possibly the week before. But if your child's teacher was on that list, there may be an area of certification that the teacher is still working on. And so you have the right to know that information, and you've already been informed about that information. If you have any questions about that, please ask. And just know that as part of your parents' right to know, you have a right to be involved in your child's education. You have a right to request regular meetings and to have a forum to express your opinions and your concerns on an ongoing basis. And we hope to have an open door where we feel like that communication goes both ways and we are working together for the benefit of your student. So the Florida standards, educational standards, they incorporate important skills, right? They're not just math and reading. These skills include critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, innovation, collaboration, communication. All of these things are included in the current standards that are adopted by the State Board of Ed. And I have linked here the academic Florida DOE org, fldoe.org, and that would have all of the academic standards. These Florida standards websites will talk about standard numbers, the depth of the standard, the rigor of the standard. It talks about what exactly your child should be expected to know by the end of the year. And all of that is delineated for you there. Our school utilizes the resources that the St. Lucie County District provides to teachers and staff. It ensures that we are meeting all of the state standards. The district provides a scope and sequence for us, a pacing calendar, documents, and sample benchmark questions. And we are very, very much aligned with district resources that are clearly aligned with the state as well. And with that, we administer the required Florida state assessments. Those assessments, I'm going to show you a preview of PM2 in a moment, but we test ELA and math in grades kindergarten through 2nd. That's the STAR assessment is for K2, also VPK. We don't have VPK at Pointe, but VPK through 2 takes the STAR state assessment. Grades 3 to 10 takes the ELA and math FASTA test assessment. The science test is for 5th and 8th grades. And then the end of course assessments, end of course exams are for civics, algebra, and geometry. And then biology and US history are end of course assessments, but those are for high school. So For those of you who are middle school parents, you'll have that to look forward to once your kiddo gets to high school. For measures of student success, we progress monitor. The state requires us to have 3 PM sessions, progress monitoring sessions. We already did PM1. The dates for upcoming PM2 are shown here. There's a little snippet here. You're getting a preview. It will be shared in the Orbiter newsletter. We also assess English language proficiency with our Access for ELLs. Again, and of course, exams, progress monitoring state assessments, midterms and finals, district assessments, and then just teacher formative assessments are ways in which we are constantly measuring students' progress. So this is pretty exciting. Based on our 2024-2025 data, our current school grade is an A. I'm sure you've heard that. We're pretty proud of it. So is the district. 76% of our students scored proficient, which is a 3 or higher on the FSA ELA reading test. 79% of our students scored proficient on the math assessment. 75% of our 5th and 8th grade students scored proficient on the state science exam. 89% of our 7th grade students scored proficient on the civics EOC, and 78% of our 8th grade students scored proficient on the algebra EOC. So those numbers are just exactly where we want to be. Of course, we want to do even better, which is our goal as we move forward. I'm going to share that with you here. I might be going ahead of the game, but with 2026 being our year, our goal is to gain 26 points in 2026. It just worked out that way. It wasn't intentional, but in order to keep making progress, when we look at all of our areas for growth, we want to make sure that we gain 26 more points in 2026. Now, based on the data that I just shared, plus feedback that we received during the spring surveys that parents and families were able to complete, we analyze the needs of our school and we create a school improvement plan. Parent and family members are really key in assisting the school in achieving these goals. And so I wanted to delineate them for you here. Our plan has 3 focus areas, and I'll just briefly go over each and the rationale for each. Our first focus area number 1, is our SS subgroup, which I mentioned are students with disabilities. Our goal here is to ensure that we gain 5 percentage points on the federal index. The federal index is how we measure subgroups, and we really want to focus on our subgroup of students with disabilities. We know that we want to be an A for all, and we want to ensure that all of our students make progress. And this is an area that we really intend and have been focusing on. Some strategies include individualized supports, training for our teachers and our ESE support, collaborative planning times where we are including our ESE teachers and support facilitators in those sessions, and then of course, ongoing data analysis. Our second area of focus is on instructional practice, which is really centered around professional learning this year. So along the lines of our SWD subgroup is we want to make sure that our teachers have the knowledge that they need to do better, right? So we want to make sure that our teachers have the best instructional tools in their tool belt so that they can then put forth their best efforts and do what's best for kids. And our goal is to increase proficiency in reading and math, of course. And specifically, we want to make sure that we are increasing at least 3 percentage points in reading and math. We want to make sure that our middle school acceleration points increases by at least 7. Our learning gains is also an area in which we measure proficiency. Students can get a score that is proficient, or students can get a score that may not be a level 3, but is showing consistent gains. And those learning gains are something that we are working on as well. Some strategies, again, include data analysis and tracking, collaborative planning, but really targeted professional learning. And this is where we bring in our coaches that are paid through Title I, our instructional coaches that are doing coaching cycles. That means they're in the classroom, they're monitoring teachers, particularly newer teachers, and they're looking for areas for improvement and working with the teacher, guiding them and ensuring that the teacher becomes more successful and effective, and then that therefore will carry over to students. And with better instruction comes better academic growth and scores, and that is all part of the plan. We also will be focusing on small groups and differentiation, and administration is going through ongoing walkthroughs. So we are walking through classrooms every week, and we are providing targeted feedback for our teachers so that we can do better. Always, always doing better. We're already doing great, but we want to improve that. Our third area of focus is our positive culture and environment. And our goal here is to increase our attendance, make sure our students are here. They have to be here to learn and to do their best. So we want to increase their attendance, so decreasing absences. And we want to decrease office managed discipline referrals, right? So when children are struggling with behavior and they have a referral, they might miss school, they might be in a behavior class for the day, and we want to make sure that we decrease those referrals so that students are in class where they belong, learning. In order to do this, we have an I Succeed mentor program, which is where every member of the leadership team has essentially adopted a student that is considered at risk, either for attendance or behavior or a multitude of reasons. And we check in with those students, monitoring their attendance and their grades and their discipline, rewarding them with whatever it is they're working towards that motivates them, just to make sure that they have a champion, someone who is in their court, in addition to their family, who is just checking on them, making sure that they're doing their best job and holding them accountable. We also have our PBIS programs, our CHAMPS, our safety programs, and incentives for our students. Coming to the home stretch, guys. Just very succinctly, this is Palm Pointe's master plan. These are our goals. This reiterates our 3 goals. We want to increase our proficiency and our learning gains for our students with disabilities, improve our instructional practice and professional learning practices, and to work on our I Succeed. That's decreasing referrals and increasing attendance. ESSA also requires every state to develop an easily understandable state report card. So this is a report card that's available online. And what it does is it provides parents with important information on test performance in reading, math, and science. They are linked there for you. You can't click it now, but you will be once you have this sent to you. The report cards have to provide data on graduation rates, suspensions, absenteeism, teacher qualifications, and several other areas. Some are listed here on the slide for you. And the idea is to just make sure that schools are fully transparent so that parents are empowered with the information that they need to make the best decisions for their children. So you will have access there to the federal and special programs link of the St. Lucie County Schools site. And then you have a link to the Know Your Schools portal, which is that state report card that I mentioned. And then each school receiving Title I Part A funds has to develop jointly with parents a compact. Now, this also went home in the Wednesday folder. This was the Homeschool Family Compact. It contains information about what Principal Markowitz agrees to do. Parents sign what they agree to do as parents, and students sign what they agree to do as students of the St. Lucie County Schools and ultimately Palm Pointe. The idea is to ensure that there's a regular 2-way meaningful communication between family members and the school. Parents need opportunities to provide input and feedback, and we just want to make sure that we are all in agreement about how we're going to work together to ensure the best possible parent-school connection. So those compacts went out. I've already received a ton of them back signed, so thank you for that. They are due on October 22nd. So please look for your school home parent compact, sign it, have your students sign it, and send it back in. That was approved by our SAC committee, where parents and community members shared what needed to be added, changed, edited before we sent it out to you all. Ooh. One other thing, and this is the most important, well, not most important, most exciting, is part of Title I is we need to have a parent-family engagement plan. And at this annual meeting, we share some of the Title I requirements. And one of those requirements is parent-family engagement, which is one of my favorite things because it's how we get to see each other and get together and spend some time with kids. So we have a few parent and family engagement nights planned. We are really wanting to make sure that we have open lines of communication and that we invite you all here. I mean, this is an extended family. We want to do this as much as possible. Parent family engagement nights and events cost money. And as we continue to have funds cut, there become more and more challenges, but we are doing the very best that we can to make sure that we are staying connected and working together. One of the things that we want to do and we need to do is offer meetings that are at flexible times so that we can maximize participation. We have to develop events and meetings that are based on parent input and try to just, in as much as possible, be available to you all. So like when Miss Markowitz started the school year, she did pancakes with the principal, but she also did pizza with the principal so that she could appeal to families that needed a morning session and an evening session. This Title I virtual webinar, we did one in the morning last week. We're having one now this evening, just to try and make it attainable so that families can visit with us even though they're working around their busy schedules. One of the requirements for parent and family engagement is that we have communication outlets to inform the school community about our programs. So the way in which we do that is our school website. We have Wednesday folders. We have one official Facebook page through social media. I know there are other Facebook pages out there that have our name on it or that parents have created, but we have one official Facebook page. I encourage you to please follow that. That is the only one we have control over. It is the only one that we are able to monitor, and it is where you will have the most up-to-date and accurate information. We also have Skylert messages going home. These are the emails, texts, phone calls that you will receive. Some of them are automated, some of them are recordings, but they are ways in which we can use all of the possible access that we have to reach you all. Weekly communication and newsletters come from teachers. And then, of course, Ms. Markowitz puts together our monthly newsletter, which is our Orbiter. Now, these things are also posted on our website, and you will have access to these on Facebook as well. We have monthly SAC meetings. That's our planned activities that we have every month. We have monthly PTO meetings. We have parent conference week and night coming up. Actually, parent conference week is next week, and parent conference night is October 23rd. We are looking forward to having you all here for that. We have a literacy night coming up. This usually takes place at the end of January. It'll be during our Celebrate Literacy Week. That is a time when we celebrate literacy and all of our students and families, and we want you all to come out and enjoy that with us. And then we will have a math night as well. Last year we did it around February, March. We don't exactly have it on the calendar just yet, but that will be coming soon. All right, guys, we're wrapping it up. I just want to remind you of a few things. This is our parent conference weeknight flyer. I'm sure you have seen it. It has been posted. It is everywhere, and we will be posting it again. But please, please, please sign up and join your teachers for a conference night. We are looking forward to seeing you, and we're so excited to welcome you here to Palm Point so that you can check in on how your kiddos are doing and just address any concerns and open door policy here. We're looking forward to seeing you. A very exciting piece is that our very own Palm Point PTO is doing a trunk or treat next week. It is, 2 weeks, sorry, October 29th. Wednesday, October 29th is our Palm Point trunk or treat. It is going to be from 6:30 to 8:30. There are still some trunks available from what I understand from PTO this morning. There is a QR code on the right there if you would like to host a trunk. If you host a trunk, then you're already in, so that's pretty cool. And we would look forward to welcoming any Palm Point families who would like to do that. On the left side, that QR code is just to register to attend. This is open only to Palm Point families. It is a private event for our Palm Point family, and we are really looking forward to having you here for that first annual, I hope, trunk or treat event. A little note on the bottom there is that we are having our class candy competition. It's our Sugar Showdown on Friday, this Friday, the 17th. Students are to donate bags of candy to their teacher, and then the class that has the most bags donated will win a special treat. Kids are excited, teachers are excited, and we're hoping that it will help us fulfill the needs of the candy for the night of trunk or treat. And that is all, my friends. I thank you for joining me. I want to show that this is the QR code where you can submit any questions and feedback. When you get onto this survey, it will also have a question about what time of the day is better for you. Those are things that we will keep in mind as we are making plans for the future. So this concludes our informational session. I really value your input, and I would appreciate it if you take the time to scan the QR code to complete the Title I survey. Thank you so much for joining us and for your time. If you have any questions that are burning, you could place them in the chat and I will answer them. I don't think I have access to allow you to speak to me at the moment, but you can go ahead and mark, oh, I see something, mark your questions in the chat. And then if I don't get to answer it this evening, or if there's questions that you submit in the survey, we will get back to you. There's a place for you to put your information so we can get back to you.